All right, now that we've had lunch, we've come to our senses. We're going camping. We're going, people. No matter how sick we feel, how tired, the woods are calling. Well, let's get out of here. There it goes. It's going. All right. All right, guys. Well, I'm in my hammock, in my Teton minus 20 plus sleeping bag. It's really nice, really cozy. The wind's really kicked up, so we'll see what the night's going to be like in the hammock, but I am really, really warm. So hope you guys have a good night as well, and I'll see you in the morning. Hey guys, well, it's 5 in the morning, and I've just gotten up to get the fire started again. The coals are pretty hot, so I just had to add a few branches to them, and away they went. I'm feeling a little bit chilled, and just got up to look at the stars, and so I've just started to make some tea. The stars are amazing tonight. A completely clear sky, so wish you could see them. They're beautiful. So I'm just going to kind of warm up with some tea, and probably go back to bed after that. Well, it's about 8 o'clock in the morning, and I'm just getting the fire started again. There's lots of warm coals, and a little bit of birch bark and a few sticks, and away we go. So just gonna get camp ready and make some breakfast. Well, just came out here to chat because I don't want to wake too many people up, but I just found this beaver lodge here. I don't know if it's all that active. I just sort of followed one of the paths through the cattails, and boom, here I am. So this might be the old one. There's a new one kind of at the back that I definitely wanted to check out. Never got around to putting up a trail camera around it yet. The sun's barely above the tree line. East is obviously over here. Just sitting here on one of these stumps. Gosh, it's a beautiful morning. Last night I think it got down to, was in the negatives for sure. It was forecasted to be -3, so I'm thinking that's sort of what it got to. My setup last night, I'd forgotten my second mat, so I was a little bit chilly, a little bit chilled sort of in my lower back. So that kind of made for a little bit of a restless sleep. The Teton sleeping bag was quite warm, but of course when you crush down the insulation on the back when you're laying down, you know, you do end up with a little bit of coolness there at the back. The front, obviously very warm because it's all puffed up. There wasn't a lot of noise, you know, in the woods at night. I heard a few, I think the ice was kind of banging out here, cracking and whatnot. I heard a few, it sounded almost like people throwing logs in the woods, but it may have been something moving around like a moose or deer or something. Didn't hear any coyotes or wolves, which kind of surprised me. Usually when I'm out here, I do hear that. But it was pretty dead quiet last night, except for, like I said, you could hear some like logs and bangs of like ice cracking and things like that. The wind really kicked up overnight, and then it kind of died down for a bit, and then when I got up around 4:30, 5, the wind had kind of come up again, and I'd kind of had enough of my back being a little bit cold, so that's when I got up and started that fire. And it was great because I laid the logs over top of the embers last night and kept them kind of shielded from getting snuffed out, and so all I had to do was sort of part them, put a little bit of birch bark on there, and boom, instantly the fire started again. So that was nice. I sat there for a while, And then I wanted to try out the little Rio-Ran tent, so I went in there from then on until, well, 8 this morning. And I must say, you know, for $100, that winter camping tent is actually quite nice. You know, I mean, who knows how long it's gonna, you know, stand up to outdoor conditions, but it's warm, it vents nicely. I mean, there's a little bit of condensation on the fly outside because we've left the vents open, but oh, it was actually, it broke the wind nicely. It was very, very comfortable. So so far, thumbs up on the Rio-Ran winter tent. $100 on Amazon. I'll put a link down below in the description box, and when I get around to it, I'll put it on my website as well at www.TheWildYam.ca, and you guys can take a peek at it if you're interested in trying it out. But that's the first tent we were able to find for winter, well, 4-season camping that was that cheap. You know, usually they're in the hundreds of dollars range. Now I don't know, again, how long this is going to last, and if there's any issues with it, I'll have to tell you guys. But so far, night one, no complaints on our end. I think it was a solid purchase. So anyways, it's a pretty nice morning out this morning. I made some tea in my Union Blue cup, which are awesome enamel cups. I got one for Christmas from a friend, and made some tea over the coals with it, and then drank it. It was awesome. So gonna make some more tea. I've got some oatmeal, granola bars, got some dried fruit as well. So gotta get the calories in to warm up, although I'm not that cold. Last night I just slept in some thermal underwear there, and it was perfect with a Teton bag, except for my back. I think that was just because the insulation in the bag was kind of crushed. So anyway, gonna head off now, make some breakfast, and we'll go from there. And thankfully my cold's not any worse this morning. I actually feel a little bit better, more rested. Oddly enough, I think probably only slept about 6 hours last night, but it was kind of a rejuvenating sleep. You know, out here it's natural darkness, well, minus the moon, and you know, pretty quiet. So when I was asleep, I was asleep. It was just unfortunate about my back being a little bit cold. But after I, you know, went back to bed in the tent, you know, I really warmed up. My back felt a lot better. So anyway, you know, hopefully I'm not gonna get any sicker, but I think I'm on the mend. Gotta be careful out here. Look at this. This ice is not safe. You can't even see this, but there's water moving underneath this ice. I think because of the beaver activity, the ice is pretty thin here, so I'm gonna be careful. I'm gonna head back out that way, away from the lodge. So maybe it is actually active, because I mean, I just hit a spot right here where it seems like they've been kind of going under the ice. So really important, guys, when you're out on these bays and there's beaver dams, be careful where they move. The water doesn't freeze very well underneath. So I just found a spot. Gonna head out that way so I don't fall through. Just getting things going here. Got some chili in the pot from last night, and here's my cup that I was showing you at 4:30 in the morning, 5 o'clock. It's by Union Blue. And it actually can go on the coals and stuff like that. So that's really useful. Yeah, it's super useful. You can cook in it, put soup in it, tea, whatever. And it doesn't melt, the paint doesn't melt. It's enamel coated, so anyway, definitely gotta get more of those. They are really awesome. It's just a great morning out here. The wind really has died down right now. Just enjoying the fire this morning. It's so nice to warm your bones.
Alright, do your thing and then I'll have some.
Okay. That's good. Tastes good, guys. Ooh, spicy. Ooh, hot. Yeah, I'd make this chili again. It's really good and super light, easy to rehydrate. Just make sure you give yourself enough time to rehydrate it. Rehydrates a lot faster. Rehydrates a lot faster when you're have it sort of boiling by the fire too. It's good. Here's the homemade granola bars that I made. I was talking about earlier there, the oats, honey, peanut butter, coconut, and chocolate chips. So these are really good. Not a lot of money in ingredients, but boy, do you ever get a ton of bars out of it. Tasty. You know, one of my favorite camp jobs by far is tending the fire and making fire. I don't know why, but it just is. Sort of relaxing, and you know, you're providing heat and a way to cook food, so It's lots of fun. You know, whenever I'm around camp doing some other chore, I always make sure to come back to the fire with a handful of, you know, sticks and twigs and, you know, if I have time, you know, more logs for the fire. So it's a job I take seriously and that I really enjoy. When you guys are out camping in the woods, what's your favorite camp task? Put it down below in the comments. So in terms of site selection, this spot was ideal for us. You know, there was a flat area. Behind us there's a bit of a ridge to protect us from any really big gusts of wind. And up front here by the bay, of course there's water out there, so that's ideal if you need drinking water. And also there's a bit of a shielding, you know, with the trees up in here as well. Always look above your head, make sure there's no widowmakers or trees that could fall down on top of your head in the night. And really important when you're setting up your tents, you don't want to do that under a tree that's going to fall down, or you might be pretty sad or dead. So always take a peek around you and see what you've got going on. I like this site as well. I mean, there's the ridge behind us, but we've got a lot of dead wood around here. A lot of standing dead, you know, back over this way, and some fallen logs. And lots of tinder too, so that's also a really important area when you want to select a site. In terms of what I'm wearing this morning, you can see I've got my sort of hammock boots. They're good to -50. They were awesome actually. Didn't overkill, but I did not wear the mucklucks on this trip. Got my fall ravens on. So I've got a hoodie on this morning and my long johns and just a light coat. So it's perfect, actually. I didn't wear the mucklucks because it's too wet for them. Honestly, like if I'm walking around and there's a bit of like top water on the bay and stuff like that, I really don't want to mess up the leather. So hopefully the next camping trip we head out on, I'll be bringing those. But again, you always have to think of the conditions and you don't want to wreck some really nice clothing. So those are a little bit better, you know, when you're dealing, you know, consistently in the minus temperatures, but for this kind of weather really wasn't appropriate. So just wearing the boots because there's lots of water around. So I wanted to show you guys this cool survival bracelet that I made. And you can see it's paracord. This one's a reflective yellow paracord, this one's camo. I got this little clip on Amazon. It has like a little compass, which is purely decorative, it doesn't work. This right here is a whistle. And if you unclip it, this right here is a striker. And there's your ferro rod right there. So that's pretty cool. Also what I've cut up is some bicycle inner tube to make my own homemade ranger bands. So these can clip onto the bracelet here. And so right now it's holding some fishing line and some wire. These also catch fire, so they're a good fire starter. And this here, this little capsule, I'm going to open it up and show you what's inside. So inside here, I have a little fishing kit. So I've got fishing line. Let's dump it out. And here I've got a little bit of fishing line and a fishing hook. And I've got it taped up there so I don't cut myself. Oops. I've got a little lead weight. Got a little white grub. Yeah, it's perfect. You can put whatever you want in there. Also got those little things online. It tucks nicely back in there. And we screw it back on. I'll just show you guys the striker. It's pretty cool actually. You can see it makes a bit of a spark. So it's better than nothing when you're starting a fire if you need something like that, but it's a nice idea. So anyway, there's a little bracelet. I thought I'd show you how I did it. Maybe in a future video I'll show you how I braided it and put it all together. So now we just have to take down camp and then we'll hike back. Got the fly off of the winter tent there because it did get quite a bit of moisture. When you're breathing, of course, the condensation goes on the fly, and so I've just kind of got it draped over my other tarp there just to dry for a little bit. And don't forget, before you leave, make sure your fire is dead out. Just gonna extinguish it with some snow and spread out any logs that didn't burn. And that'll do her. That fire lasted about 19 hours or so, so that's pretty darn good. Thanks so much for watching today, guys. I hope you enjoyed our little camping adventure. Despite me not feeling 100%, I feel a lot better actually than when I first started out on this little trip to the woods. So I hope to get more winter camping in this season, and I'll certainly be sure to take you guys along. I hope you guys have a wonderful week as always. Take care.